Woo! All right, all right, all right. Here we go again. Here we go again. Look, if you haven't subscribed, please do and give me a like. Let's do all that fun stuff so we can all be gaining from this experience. All right, if you are a teacher or a parent or a student or anyone who needs practice in mathematics, this is a great place to come. There's a free handout you can download in the description. Just cut and paste that URL, put it in the internet, and a worksheet will pop up. Download it, print it off, perform all those problems, and then come on back. See how you did. All right? Okay, here we go. We're going to now solve two-step equations. Two-step equations. Always identify your variable, right? Because your goal is to get the variable by itself and undo everything that's being done to it. So the first thing I notice is that that's my variable term. So I want to undo all of the things away from my variable term. So notice I have this plus 11. I'm going to take that plus 11 and I'm going to move it to the other side. But to move it to the other side, you must do the inverse. So the opposite of a plus is a minus. This goes to 0. That's what you wanted. You're left with that variable term equals, and that's a whole lot of 24. Okay, now this looks just like the one-step equation we solved earlier, right? That's 3 times x. Inverse operation of multiplication is division. Remember, if you do it to one side, you got to do it to the other. Then you get x equals 24 divided by 3 is 8. You're done. X equals 8. Good job. Let's do it again. Okay, again, identify that variable term. There's the variable term right there. Undo the constant term from both sides. Notice there's no negative in front, so it's a positive number. So I'm going to subtract 13. Subtract 13. This goes to 0, like we wanted. I'm left with 4y equals a whole lot of 20. Now I'm going to do the inverse operation for multiplying by 4, and that's dividing by 4. And I get y equals 5. All right, let's do it again. Let's do it again. Identify that variable term. There it is. Undo the operations, the addition and subtraction away from it. So undo addition. That's subtraction. This goes to 0 like we wanted. Boom. I'm left with 5m equals 24 negatives and 16 negatives is a whole lot of 40 negatives. Now I have 5 times m. The inverse operation for multiplication is division. These cancel out just like I wanted. 5 divided by 5 is 1. So I have 1m equals negative divided by a positive is negative. And 40 divided by 5 is 8. So m equals negative 8. All right, let's do the next one. Again, identify that variable term. There it is. There it is. Undo the operations away from it. So undo that plus 8. So I'm going to minus 8. So that leaves me with negative 2w is equal to 32 minus 8 is 24. Now I'm going to undo that multiplication by negative 2, right? That negative is in front and its multiplication is the operation. So don't add 2 to both sides. It's not a variable minus 2. It's negative 2 times w. So undo that multiplication. And you get a whole lot of negative divided by negative is a positive 1. Positive divided by a negative is a negative 12. Okay, now I always think it's a good idea to check your answers for accuracy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that value of w. W was equal to negative 12. And I'm going to substitute into the original equation, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that negative 12, and I'm going to put it right there. So I have negative 2, open a parenthesis. Now you're going to put in that value of negative 12, boom, plus 8 equals 32. Now what you want to do is simplify both sides of the equal symbol. So simplify that side and simplify that side separately. Do not do inverse operations. It's important. So on the left, I have negative 2 times negative 12. That's a positive 24 plus 8 equals. You cannot simplify this anymore. It's one term, and so it's as simplified as it can get. So that just keeps being 32. But now I'm going to add these two up because I can simplify the left-hand side of the equal symbol a little bit more. Woo! And look at that. When you simplify it down and both sides equal the same number, you know you got it. You know it's true. All right, let's do this. This is great. Identify that variable term. Notice that fraction bar. What operation does that fraction bar represent? Do you remember? That's right. That's right. Division. Okay. So, identify the variable term. This whole thing is a term because division does not separate terms, but addition does. Equal symbol does. So there's 1, 2, 3 terms. All right, now I want to move that 7 over, right? Inverse operation of plus 7 is minus 7. Bring down the x over 4 and set that equal to 13 minus 7 is 6. Now, do you remember how to do the inverse operation for division? That's right, it's multiplication, and you multiply the top by the number, and you multiply this by the number. You only multiply the top when you do the inverse operation of multiplication. What happens when you do 4 divided by 4? Well, 4 divided by 4 is a 1. So that's 1x equals 24. 1 times x is x, so x equals 24. Let's go. That was a fun problem. All right, let's do it again. Identify that variable term. There's my variable y. Boom. Inverso operations. Opposite of plus 3, minus 3, minus 3. So now I got y over 5 is equal to 11 negatives and 3 negatives is 14 negatives. Now I'm going to do the inverse operation for division. That is multiplication. Notice how I put it with the top, because when I multiply a number, I multiply by the top. 5 divided by 5 cancels out. I have 1y equals negative times a positive is a negative 70. All right, let's flip it over, see what we got. Okay, number 8. Again, identify that variable term. There it is. Undo your operation of subtraction. So the inverse operation for subtraction is addition. So 9x, because that goes to 0, equals 45. Divide by the 9ers. Divide. And you get x equals 5. Done deal. Good job, everybody. All right, here we go again. Identify that variable term, right, chat? Inverse operations. So inverse operation of minus 6 is plus 6. If you do it to the left side of the equal symbol, you got to do it to the right. This cancels out, goes to 0. That's what we wanted. So I get negative 4y equals 40. Now I'm going to divide by that coefficient. The coefficient is the number in front of the variable. So divide by negative 4. And you get y equals positive divided by a negative and 40 divided by 4. Boom. All right, let's do it again. Identify that variable term, my people. Right out. Inverse operations. Inverse of subtraction is addition. Simplify. That goes to 0. So I'm left with 10m on the left. Notice how I line things up nicely. Notice my inverse operations. I line them up so I don't get lost. Line them up. Line them up. Right? And then come straight down with it. Good habits in math are important. Equals a whole lot of 60. Okay, now I'm going to do inverse operation of multiplying by 10. The inverse operation is dividing by 10. So I get a whole lot of m equals 6. m equals 6. All right. Oh, they put the variable on the other side, but that's all right. That's all right. Don't forget that minus goes with it, right? That subtraction is going to turn into a negative. Okay, so let's undo that minus 2. So the inverse operation of minus 2 is plus 2. Rewrite it, and don't forget, all of that needs to come down. Negative 8p equals 32. Now I'm going to undo that multiplying by negative 8. I'm going to divide by negative 8. That's negative 8 divided by negative 8 is 1p. Positive divided by a negative is a negative 4. Boom. Okay, let's check it. Let's check it. Let's check problem number 10 for accuracy, can we? Okay, so notice in problem 10, I called that M. Man, I need to get another prescription on my glasses, I think. All right, so that is an N. So N is 6, right? Yeah. So I'm going to take that N equals 6, and I'm going to substitute it in right there. All right, I'm going to substitute in right there. Okay, so I'm going to rewrite 10. Open a parenthesis when you substitute in, please. You're substituting in 6 minus the big 18 equals 42. All right, now on the left-hand side, I'm doing the order of operations because I have an expression that I'm now simplifying, right? Because I substituted in. I'm evaluating this for n equals 6. 10 times 6 is 60 minus 18. I cannot simplify this anymore because there's nothing to add, subtract, multiply, or divide. 60 minus 18 is 42. Woo, and that checks. Always make sure you take it all the way down to where both sides are the same. All right, here's 13. Identify that variable term. There it is, right there. All right, so add or subtract the other term away. Inverse operation for a subtraction is addition. That cancels out, goes to 0. N over 7 equals 15. Now I got to do the inverse operation for dividing by 7. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 7. Boom. 7 times 10 is 70. 7 times 5 is 35. 70 plus 35 is 105. Let's go. N equals 105. All right, let's solve this for P. Okay, again, identify that variable term. Boom, right there. Okay, undo your operation of subtraction. So that's addition, like so. So P divided by negative 5 is equal to negative 4, right? Do you have more negatives or more positives? You have more negatives. 15 of those cancels out with 15 of those. So I have 4 of those left. Now, inverse operation of division is multiplication. You can show multiplication as a dot. You can show it as a parenthesis as well. All right. Negative 5 divided by negative 5 is 1. P. Negative times a negative is a positive. 20. That was a tough one. I think I should check that answer, so I'm going to. Okay, what does P equal? P equals 20. I'm going to put that right there because I'm somewhat confident. Okay, I'm going to take this variable out and evaluate it for a p-value of 20. So I'm going to go like that. I wish I would have done that in red, but that's all right. Minus 15 equals negative 19. Okay, simplify the left-hand side, so that term needs to be simplified. Positive divided by a negative is a negative. 20 divided by 5 is 4. Cannot simplify the right-hand side, so I'm not going to. You can combine these because they're like terms. They're constants. 4 negatives and 15 negatives is 9. Oh, I hate when I do that. Is 19 negatives. All right, so that's true. So that means my answer works. Woo, let's go. Don't forget to subscribe and have fun. Come on back. Do math every day and you will get good at it. Math is the future. Come on now. All right, be good. See ya.